Hello there. Good morning, good day, and good evening to whenever you may be listening. My name is Mr. Monts, and I'm not in the greatest of moods today. You probably, if those of you who follow me on YouTube, well, that's not many of you, you would have seen that I was in a bit of a bad mood yesterday. Yep, just seeing that trailer just got me in a bit of a tiff. I wanted to express my opinions, and that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah, it's my channel, I do what I want. And I felt like that was a good way to express some stress opinions that I had on that trailer. But enough of that, we need to move on with some stuff. And so, once again, gonna need to move on today with the usual updated on certain movie news, some more sports, random news story, as well as weather. And then we'll move on with our days, and happy times from here on out. So, let's get started. First up, we're going to be opening up with more movie news. This week opening up in theatres, we have London Has Fallen, a sequel to Olympus Has Fallen. Remember that time that some terrorists attacked the White House, and just one guy managed to defeat everyone? Well, same kind of thing happens now, except it's now in London, so it's the same kind of shtick that it's looking for the last one, only it's more action blown up, more stuff. You know what? No, I'm not doing this. Freaking stop. Just stop. Okay, I'm done holding back. I'm still fucking pissed about last time. I mean, I know it's been a day later, but I'm still not over this. And it's like, I can understand it's again, from last time I was talking previously on my channel, I brought up my opinions on what I thought of the last new Ghostbusters movie trailer reboot thing they're doing. And what was basically just me mumbling around for a good 2 minutes, or 4 minutes, or however long that video was. 5 minutes, I think it actually was. That doesn't matter how long I talked about it. What mattered was the fact that I got super freaking annoyed with this new lazy attempt of a movie, and they're just trying to pass it off as a new incarnation of the Ghostbusters, and it just doesn't work. It failed on all the fucking levels. The characters don't feel interesting, the effects are cheap as hell, and the jokes, none of the jokes land. And I know exactly why none of the jokes land, is because it doesn't have the same tone as the first Ghostbusters movie. It wasn't just some wacky, crazy ghosty adventure. I mean, it did have a lot of that in it, but the way the jokes of the impact was the chemistry bouncing off of the characters and how their emotions were. Most specifically, one of the big characters of the original film was Bill Murray's character, as he was the kind of guy who who had all this crazy stuff happening around him, and he honestly couldn't care less. He didn't give a crap about the paranormal activities. He didn't care about how any of this looked or how it was formatted in front of him. All he cared was that it was like, hey, what people think? What will people think of me? Will this make me a lot of money? Will I make some hot chicks during this? Anything that I can. He's a slimy guy with a mean-spirited attitude. And it's that kind of misery that is very funny. And that doesn't have that same impact here. Same kind of stuff with the other characters. A lot of them you could actually feel passionate about it. And there was Ray, and there's like he felt really another one of the main characters. He was really interested in this ghost, the activities of these ghosts. He's always wanted to dream about finding this kind of stuff, and this same passion just doesn't feel off with whoever the counterpart is supposed to be. Egon is a major scientist who is really intrigued in high log detail, and then there was. I haven't seen the film in so long, I forgot the name of the black actor, but he was basically in it just for the money. He honestly believed what he wanted to. He just wanted to go along with it and get the money. It was only when things got really super serious at the end where it was like you needed to put everything in, all the eggs in the basket, because he knows how bad things are getting, and it can't turn away from this anymore. Same thing for all those characters. They don't. All these guys just all the characters from this new film look like they're just going to be freaking types. Melissa McCarthy's going to be the fat one. The other one's going to be just the nerdy one. The other one is just going to be the black one. Which I know that sounds bad saying. It's like the black character is just there to be the black character. But that is... It's like, but the fact that none of it was funny. They tried to land the jokes, but it was just too slow of a pace, and the joke just was dragged out much longer. Like the scene where she just slapped the ghost spirit out of Melissa McCarthy, and if the joke just lasted way too long, if it was like continuous slaps at a much faster pace or something, maybe, I don't know, but they just dragged it out to a point where it was not even worth doing. It was a bad, bad, it still agitated me, and it's a day later, and the fact that I can see on the YouTube page that it's got a large amount of dislikes, so obviously people are disliking it, and there are going to be those people who are like, oh, you don't like it just because it's a bunch of women casted in the film. No, that's not my problem at all. Women can be funny. Those women can be funny. It's just that they're not trying anything new or trying anything that's outside of their comfort zone. I've seen Melissa McCarthy be funny, and I've also seen her be incredibly unfunny. It's just... I just want this film to do really well. The only one which looks interesting is the badass looking one whose name I don't know because I haven't seen her in anything, so I don't really know what she's going to be like. Maybe she'll be the one who's like with a cynical attitude, but it doesn't seem that way. She just seems playful and just going off to try to be a badass. Yes, again, it feels super friggin' action orientated, and again, for freaking CG, it was just... I understand why they did that, is to make the ghosts like a lot more on screen. We get to see a much more dense world, a much larger landscape, but it just all looks so fake. You could tell all of this was made on the computer for a cheaper budget. I saw a post on Facebook saying that this film costs $100 million than the latest Deadpool film, and yet Deadpool looked more realistic. Deadpool had a cheaper budget, and it managed to have heart of humor, and it could be believable. You can believe anything that's on screen if you make it work. But just throwing CG and just expecting it to fit without this kind of background to it, without any kind of real purpose or style to it, then it just is just lazy amounts of CG. I thought we were done with this shit way back at the end of the early 2000s, early 90s, when CG was still the new thing, and everybody wanted to do it. Everybody wanted to try to be the next big thing with throwing in a whole bunch of CG into live action movies to make it look awesome. I thought we moved past that. I thought we got better with CG now. We have films like Planet of the Apes, which have this fantastic amount of CG models that look like they're actually real and they're believable there. That's what I'm talking about with CG that looks good. This looks terrible. This still looks like early 2000 grade CG. We're in 2016 now. Why does it still look this bad? And the original film from the 80s, had people make this stuff, it was more believable then. You could see the detail in these characters and all of... You know what? No. You know what? I'm not going to talk about this anymore. This podcast is already 8 minutes long, and I've talked about this longer than I've talked about any certain thing on this podcast before. So I'm going to go ahead and do something better with my time. I am going to talk about a movie trailer that actually looks real good, and I'm genuinely interested in. Let's just go to something simpler. You know, like Finding Dory. You know, that new Pixar film that's coming out later this year. It's a film that is basically a sequel to the original Finding Nemo, which was a film from my childhood, and I really loved it. It looks really fun. It's fun, and not only that, it has a good amount of quality of animation put into it. It's got a lot of good writers behind it, and talented actors and stuff, and it's just gorgeous to look at, and also an interesting story. Is like a one-off line that was mentioned is Dory wondering about where her parents were, and now she gets to go off and try to find them in this film. Just a little one-off line like that. So it's not really about Dory's lost and now we need to do Finding Nemo again, but with Dory, this time it's Dory trying to find out who she truly is, trying to understand who she is in this world. It's like where she came from, what she did. Who is this person? As she just, person, I say fish, actually, because, hey, it's genuinely interesting. And I do like Pixar films that are like this. Hey, and also there's a good film looks like a good film. Zootopia. That's already opens up in America, and unfortunately comes out in England at the end of the month, which means I have to wait for it. But my God, that film looks so ingenious and so well done, with the large style of animation building up this giant, interesting world of animals that had all this creative stuff around it. We get to find out how all these animals interact in a utopian society, but if the utopia doesn't last too long, and we need to find out why. It's just really intriguing and a good idea, and apparently everybody seems to love it. That film has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I've never seen many films nowadays do that. At this time of recording, that is. I don't know whether that would end up changing within the next while. It's bound to happen. But the fact that it's gone this long and everybody seems to adore this, I'm just excited for that film, and I'm just going to wait for Zootopia to come out. And I'm going to be hoping that Finding Dory will also be just as nice as a film. I'm not even going to bother with Ghostbusters. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Have a good day. That's enough of talking about movies. I've talked about that way too long. Right, so, enough about movies. Let's move on with the next topic, and that is the weather. What is happening in the weather world today? Weather forecast. It's raining today. Today's Friday. It doesn't look like it's going to be changing up that much, but hopefully throughout the rest of the day, it's still cloudy. But some sunshine during the weekend, specifically Sunday. Hopefully Sunday will do us rather nice. Let's take a look at where else in the world. London is also a fair amount of rain, but also frost in the afternoon and evening. Better watch out for that. Also Edinburgh, we got some more clouds and sun. It's windy. It was a bit windy and wet and rainy throughout this week. Apparently those expected thunderstorms. I was walking to work one day, and all of a sudden, crash, thunder crash outside. Oh dear, that's not good. Better get to the train station to get to work. That's not really the greatest thing you want to see when you're walking to your workplace. That's definitely not good. Well, let's hope for the rest of the week we'll have less chance of thunderstorms. Oh well, you never know. Things happen. Anyway, that is enough from the weather. Very nice, quickly and dealt with. Let's see what else is happening in the world of sports. Apparently there's something called the Davis Cup going on right now. And what is that exactly? It seems it's a tennis tournament. Tennis between, British champion, who I guess is Andy Murray, it looks like, and they're going up against Japan. Britain versus Japan in tennis. Never thought I'd see that. I mean, it probably would be a normal thing, but I've actually seen that before myself. It might be an interesting match. It's happening today, I think. Well, it says live. I'm looking at it on the sports. It's Friday afternoon and getting a little late. It's a lot of sports stuff. So, yeah, tennis. Very interesting sport. Sometimes. It's good stuff to just watch two people going back and forth, keeping the intensity of trying to get the ball within the court. So, yeah, tennis, good sport. Alright, and now that news story is now finished, it's time to move on with our big news story of the day, and quite big indeed, as we are talking about the recently broken news that Facebook is to pay a UK tax that is millions of pounds. Its taxes have gone up that high, as its original structure overhaul, they didn't pay that much taxes. You'd think that it would be avoided. You'd think a major company like that would have to undergo this kind of process, as would any major company, but no, they managed to avoid it for quite a bit. It seems like they've caught on. Apparently, in 2014, they only paid £4,327 in corporation tax. That is a big overall compared to much larger companies. And like it or not, Facebook is a friggin' large company. It's great. It's a website app that almost everyone uses. I don't know a person who maybe some older people who don't use Facebook, but even they use Facebook sometimes. You'd be surprised. And it's set much higher than the usual corporation tax because they've avoided so much, and they profit so much normally through the ads and stuff that this is something that needs to be done. Everybody needs to pay taxes, like it or not. It's how we get by with lives. It's how we manage to be able to get through having nice things. Have things for us like heating, water, all those running stuffs that we take granted for. It's just how the way the world works. Is it a good thing or a bad thing in the long run? I don't know, but it's something that was probably bound to happen eventually. Well, ending was a bit rushed there, but that's because I went on talking so long at the beginning, because I was still salty from yesterday. But well, at least we have this nice calming music to move us out on. It's always nice to just finish the day with a much nicer feeling. So, here's the thing. Just, instead of getting angry at YouTube trailers for movies that are coming out that you dislike, why not just go ahead and just look up stuff that you do like and enjoy things that you do have. Things could be much worse than they already are. And from where things are standing, it's not really much to get angry about. Oh well. Anyway, I've been Mr. Mont, and thank you once again for listening. I hope that maybe you can like and share with your friends, comment, maybe give a subscription on YouTube, or give a follow on SoundCloud. I also have a Twitter account if you want to follow that, if you find it, maybe, I don't know. But hey ho. Anyway, this has been me, Mr. Mont, signing off, and have a lovely day. Fuck that Ghostbusters trailer.